What if I told you that deep inside your brain, beyond thoughts, beyond habits, beyond everything you think you are, there's a hidden signal, a quantum code designed to create transformation in an instant? You've been told that change takes time, that to evolve you must crawl through years of effort, struggle, and self-discipline. But what if that's not true? What if your brain already possesses the hardware and software to transform instantly? Not in years, not in months, but right now. Science is beginning to prove what ancient wisdom always hinted at. Your brain isn't just a processor, it's a quantum receiver. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold, they're not isolated events. They're signals, vibrations, and patterns of energy that either keep you stuck or set you free. And inside this field of invisible information lies something extraordinary. A code, unique to you, that determines how your brain perceives reality itself. Your brain operates on frequency, electrical oscillations known as brainwaves. Delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma. These are not just random rhythms. They are states of consciousness determining how you think, feel, and experience the world. When you're stressed, your brain locks into high-frequency beta waves. You're alert, reactive, but trapped in survival mode, fight, flight, or freeze. When you're calm, creative, and open, your brain drops into alpha and theta. These states open the door to transformation, to neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire itself instantly. When you shift your state, you literally rewrite the code. That's your quantum key. Dr. Joe Dispenza once said, "Your personality creates your personal reality." Change the personality, the thoughts, the emotions, the chemical patterns, and the reality around you begins to shift. But Andrew Huberman adds something crucial, EVA. Eerie change begins biologically. Your neurons must fire differently, your hormones must balance, your visual focus must shift from tunnel vision, the survival mode, to panoramic awareness. And here's the fascinating part, these two worlds aren't separate. They're the same event, observed from two lenses, one through biology, one through energy, both pointing to one truth. Your mind is the code that programs your brain. Think about your thoughts as code. If you keep running the same line of programming, "I'm not good enough, change is hard, it takes time," your brain executes the same pattern, the same chemistry, the same life. But when you introduce a new line, "I am the creator, change happens now, my potential is unlimited," your brain doesn't argue, it adapts. Neurons rewire, synapses reconnect, and the quantum field, that invisible sea of possibilities, begins to respond. It's not magic, it's neuroplasticity, the science of rewiring your mind through focused emotion and intention. Transformation isn't about learning something new, it's about unlearning the old. You've been conditioned by experience. Every thought triggers chemistry. Every emotion builds memory. Over time, those memories become identity. You say, "That's just who I am." But what if who you are is just a repeating signal in your brain, a pattern that can be interrupted and rewritten at any moment? Let's test this. Right now, wherever you are, take a deep breath. Slow down, inhale, and exhale. Now, imagine your mind as a vast ocean, calm, limitless. Each thought is a ripple, each emotion a wave. As you breathe, those waves begin to settle. Beneath the surface, a quiet hum. Your quantum code begins to emerge. Now, bring one thought to mind, the version of you that already has what you want. See it, feel it, notice how your body reacts, a subtle warmth, a sense of expansion, maybe even peace. That's not imagination, that's biology. You just shifted your brain's frequency from survival to creation, from beta to alpha, maybe even theta. And in that moment, you've begun rewriting your code. When you do this repeatedly, pairing thought with emotion, you teach your brain and body to expect a new reality. You're no longer reacting to your past, you're programming your future. Every visualization, every elevated emotion becomes a signal to your brain's network. Install this version of me. Run this new code, and because your brain doesn't distinguish between real and vividly imagined experiences, it starts producing the chemistry of that new reality. Now, that's the essence of instant transformation. Dr. Huberman's research shows that when you focus your visual and emotional attention simultaneously, you activate deeper circuits in the prefrontal cortex, the seat of conscious control. When that happens, your body stops running old programs. You become the observer, and the observer, as quantum physics suggests, changes the observed. That's the paradox in the power. Your attention, your awareness, is the quantum code. Where focus goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, neurons grow. Maybe transformation doesn't take time. Maybe it takes intention. The moment you shift your emotional state, your chemistry changes, your perception expands, and your brain's quantum network, that living dynamic field, begins to reorganize itself around your new identity. So when you say, "I am transformed," you're not making a wish. You're issuing a command, a biological and energetic command your brain immediately begins to execute. This is only the beginning. In the next part, we'll decode how to map your personal quantum signature, the specific patterns of thought and emotion that define your unique brain frequency, and how to rewrite that signature to align with the reality you want to live in. Because the secret isn't out there, it's already inside you, waiting to be unlocked. This is your brain's quantum code for instant transformation. Every human brain vibrates with a unique rhythm, a signature pattern of thought and emotion that quietly shapes every decision, every behavior, and every outcome in your life. This pattern is what we can call your personal quantum signature. It's like a song your brain has been playing on repeat since childhood. Most of us never change the melody. We live, think, and feel in the same rhythm every day, wondering why life feels predictable, why the same emotions keep returning, why the same challenges keep showing up. The truth is simple. Your brain is not resisting you. It's just running the code it knows. Your quantum signature isn't abstract or mystical. It's measurable. It's in the tone of your inner voice, in the patterns of your breathing, in the way your neurons fire when you think about yourself. Dr. Andrew Huberman explains that our thoughts and emotions are loops of energy and chemistry. When a certain emotion, say fear, guilt, or excitement, repeats often enough, the neurons that represent it wire together. That network becomes easier to activate until one small trigger, a memory, a sound, a word, lights up the entire circuit. Over time, that circuit becomes your baseline. You begin to live inside it, and that becomes your reality. Dr. Joe Dispenza describes this as being trapped in a familiar past. You think you're making choices freely, but most of your actions are just predictable responses from your body and brain. The key to transformation is to recognize your personal quantum signature, that emotional frequency you return to again and again, and then learn to shift it consciously. That's where real freedom begins. You don't change your life by fighting your old patterns. You change it by upgrading the signal that runs them. Let's explore how to find your own signature. Close your eyes for a moment and think about how you usually feel when you wake up. Is it peace, excitement, stress, or numbness? That first emotional tone is a reflection of your default code. It's your baseline vibration, your habitual frequency. Then think about what emotion you feel most often during the day. Maybe frustration, maybe drive, maybe anxiety. Whatever emotion dominates your daily state, that's your brain's current program. It's the emotional password that unlocks the same neural networks every morning. The longer you stay there, the stronger that circuit gets. Now here's where the science gets fascinating. Your brain can't distinguish between a memory and a vivid imagination. When you recall an event, the same neurons fire as when it actually happened. That means you can rehearse a new emotional pattern the same way you rehearse a skill. You can train your brain to fire and wire new networks that correspond to the person you want to become. That's how you begin rewriting your signature. The code responds to repetition, emotion, and focus, the same three ingredients that created your old self. Let's do a short exercise. Sit still and think of one emotion that represents the version of you you want to become. It could be confidence, love, gratitude, or clarity. Don't just think the word, feel it. Where in your body does that emotion live? Let it spread. As you feel it, imagine your brain lighting up, neurons connecting in patterns that match this frequency. Visualize those circuits growing stronger with every breath. You're not pretending, you're instructing your biology. You're sending a new signal into your nervous system and the quantum field around you. And because your brain responds to emotion faster than logic, this practice begins to change your chemistry instantly. Dr. Huberman often talks about the power of focus. Where your visual attention goes, your brain follows. When you fix your gaze softly on a single point, you calm your nervous system. When you expand your focus to include your surroundings, you access creativity and safety. The same principle applies internally. When your awareness expands beyond the problem, when you stop looping in the same thought, your brain gains the space to create something new. This shift from narrow, stress-based attention to open, creative awareness is a neurological doorway into transformation. Your quantum signature also lives in your subconscious language. Listen to how you talk to yourself. Are you commanding or complaining? Are you describing life as happening to you or through you? Words are frequencies. When repeated, they become instructions. The sentence, "I can't change," reinforces a network of limitation. The sentence, "I'm learning how to change," activates curiosity, a completely different neural state. Over time, these subtle linguistic shifts rewrite your internal code. You're not just speaking differently, you're signaling your brain to behave differently. Neuroscience shows that new neural connections form through repetition and emotion, not just logic. That means the fastest way to change your quantum signature isn't by forcing thoughts, but by feeling new emotions on purpose. Gratitude is one of the most powerful. When you feel genuine gratitude for something that hasn't even happened yet, your brain produces the same chemicals as if it already had. You literally begin living in the future you're creating. Dr. Dispenza calls this living in the elevated state of the future. It's the emotional signature of transformation itself. Now imagine this. Every morning you wake up and instead of repeating your past, you tune into your new signature. You breathe in the emotion of your desired future. You see it, you feel it, you hold it for 60 seconds. During those 60 seconds, your brain begins to match that energy. The old circuits that used to define you lose power and the new ones start to grow. The more you practice, the more stable your new state becomes. And at some point, it crosses a threshold. Your subconscious begins to believe it. That's when transformation becomes automatic. Huberman explains that the brain's plasticity is experience dependent. That means it adapts to whatever you expose it to repeatedly. If you live in anxiety, you become skilled at anxiety. If you live in inspiration, you become skilled at creation. Your neurons don't care what they learn, they only care about consistency. So the question isn't whether you're reprogramming your brain, you already are every moment. The real question is, what are you programming it to expect? The personal quantum signature isn't fixed, it's flexible. It can evolve as you do. You can shift it through breathwork, meditation, focused visualization, movement, or even the simple act of changing your posture. Every physiological shift sends feedback to your brain. When you stand taller, breathe slower, and direct your gaze upward, your brain registers safety and possibility. When you slump, breathe shallowly, and look down, your brain registers threat and limitation. The body teaches the brain what reality to expect. That's why transformation must be embodied, not just imagined. Now think about this. If your quantum signature is a blend of thought, emotion, and physiology, then the moment you consciously change any one of them, you start changing all of them. That's the power of awareness. The observer effect in quantum physics tells you that the act of observing something changes it. The same applies here. When you observe your old emotional patterns without judgment, you begin to separate from them. You are no longer the pattern, you are the awareness behind it, and that awareness is the real you, the one capable of instant transformation. So the next time you feel yourself falling into an old emotion, stress, doubt, frustration, pause. Don't resist it, just notice it, name it. That single act activates the prefrontal cortex, pulling you out of the automatic program and into conscious control. Then take one deep breath and recall your new emotional signature. Feel it again. Replace the old code with the new one. Each time you do this, you weaken the old circuits and strengthen the new. Your brain begins to prefer the upgraded signal. Over time, something beautiful happens. The world around you begins to mirror your internal change. Opportunities appear that match your new frequency. People respond differently. Your circumstances subtly realign. This isn't coincidence, it's coherence. Your brain and the quantum field start speaking the same language. The outer world becomes a reflection of your new inner state. You don't chase change anymore, you attract it. This is the science and art of mapping your personal quantum signature. It's the process of becoming conscious of your unconscious patterns and then choosing new ones with intention and emotion. It's not about controlling every thought, it's about mastering your energy. The more coherent your energy, the more aligned your brain and body become, and the faster transformation unfolds. In the next part, we'll go deeper into how to activate quantum coherence, the alignment between your heart, mind, and brain that amplifies your signal into the field. When that coherence happens, the impossible starts to look natural because the power that transforms your life isn't somewhere outside. It's the vibration you're broadcasting right now. Change the signal and reality will follow. There's a moment in deep transformation when something remarkable happens. You stop trying to change your life and begin to tune it. You realize that your thoughts, emotions, and energy are not separate forces, but three frequencies of the same field. When those frequencies align, you enter a state called coherence, a measurable harmony between your brain, your heart, and your nervous system. This is the secret doorway through which change flows effortlessly. Coherence is not philosophy, it's physics. And when your body and mind vibrate in the same rhythm, the field around you begins to organize itself in response. Dr. Joe Dispenza calls coherence the synchronization of the heart and brain. He explains that the heart produces the strongest electromagnetic field in the body, thousands of times stronger than the brain's. When your emotions are out of balance, when you're anxious, angry, or fearful, your heart's rhythm becomes chaotic. That chaos sends disordered signals to your brain, creating confusion, impulsive reactions, and fatigue. But when you feel gratitude, love, or joy, the heart rhythm becomes smooth, rhythmic, and coherent. The heart signal then synchronizes the brain's electrical patterns, allowing them to operate in harmony. That harmony is what we call coherence. It's the foundation of clarity, creativity, and healing. Dr. Andrew Huberman would describe this from a neural perspective. When your heart and breath slow down, your vagus nerve sends calming signals to your brainstem. This lowers stress hormones, restores focus, and activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for conscious control, decision-making, and awareness. In that state, you stop reacting and start creating. Your nervous system moves from survival to balance, and your brain becomes an instrument tuned for transformation. So what does this mean in practice? And it means your emotions are not random feelings. They're electrical and chemical codes that either disrupt or align your system. Every time you feel resentment, self-doubt, or fear, your heart sends incoherent data to your brain. Your mind becomes noisy, scattered, and defensive. But every time you feel gratitude, compassion, or peace, your heart's rhythm organizes, and your brain synchronizes with it. The two begin to operate as one. You literally become more powerful, more intuitive, and more magnetic. Try this simple exercise. Sit quietly and bring your attention to your heart. You might even place a hand there to connect physically. Breathe slowly, in for 5 seconds, out for 5 seconds. As you breathe, imagine that you're drawing air directly into your heart. Feel the space expand inside your chest. Now think of something or someone you genuinely appreciate. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's the sound of rain, the smile of someone you love, or the warmth of sunlight on your skin. Let that feeling of gratitude grow until it fills your chest completely. Stay there for 30 seconds. That's coherence. In that moment, your heart and brain are in perfect communication. Your body chemistry shifts instantly. You've just entered a higher frequency of consciousness. When you sustain this state, your brain begins to produce synchronized alpha and theta waves, the same frequencies linked with creativity, intuition, and deep learning. Your immune system strengthens, your stress hormones drop. The electromagnetic field around your heart becomes more organized and measurable up to several feet outside your body. Scientists at the HeartMath Institute have shown that when you're in coherence, your presence influences others. Their heart rhythms begin to synchronize with yours. That's not mysticism, that's resonance. Energy organizes around coherence. This is why people who live in coherence often seem effortlessly lucky. They walk into a room and things just align. They're not manipulating reality, they're matching it. The field responds to order. When your internal systems are coherent, the external world naturally organizes around that same pattern. You attract, not by force but by frequency. You don't chase, you resonate. Think of coherence like tuning a radio. When your mind and heart are tuned to the same frequency, you receive a clear signal from the field of infinite possibilities. But if your thoughts are broadcasting one station, full of doubt and fear, while your heart is broadcasting another, full of longing and pain, the signal becomes static. Nothing flows. The key is to align them through emotion. Emotion is the translator between the mind and the body. When you elevate your emotion and match it to a clear intention, you program your entire system to expect a new outcome. Huberman says that your nervous system is designed to follow your focus. When your visual field expands, when you look at the horizon instead of staring down at your problems, your brain interprets it as safety. Your physiology opens, your cortisol levels drop, and you re-enter coherence. That's why practices like walking in nature, breathing slowly, or meditating with eyes softly open have such profound effects. They signal to your brain, I'm safe now, you can create again. Safety is the gateway to creation. Dr. Dispenza takes it one step further. He says that when your brain and heart are coherent, you become a magnet for synchronicity. The unified field, that quantum web connecting all things, begins to respond to the signature of your coherence. It brings opportunities, people, and ideas that match your frequency. It's not superstition, it's alignment. When your inner world vibrates in order, the outer world echoes that order. Here's something to remember. Coherence is not forced positivity. It's not pretending everything is fine. It's emotional mastery. The ability to return to balance no matter what's happening. When you notice your heart racing, your breath shortening, your mind spiraling, that's an invitation, not a failure. It's your body saying, return to coherence. You do it through breath, focus, and gratitude. You realign the signal. Each time you practice, your nervous system learns. The heart-brain connection grows stronger. You become more stable under pressure, more centered in chaos. You stop being pulled by external noise because your internal rhythm is louder, clearer, more coherent. That's when you begin to embody transformation, not as an idea, but as a state of being. And something else happens too. As your coherence stabilizes, your perception changes. You begin to see patterns in your life differently. What once felt random starts to look like communication, as if reality itself is responding to your energy. You start trusting your intuition because it's no longer clouded by stress. Decisions become simpler. Opportunities appear without effort. Life begins to feel synchronized. This is the power of coherence, the bridge between science and mysticism, biology and consciousness. It's where your quantum code comes alive. You've already mapped your personal signature in the previous step. Now you're tuning it, aligning your mind, your heart, and your energy into a single harmonious signal. When you live from that alignment, you no longer wait for change. You become it. You don't chase outcomes, you generate them. In the next part, we'll explore how to amplify this coherence into the world around you, how to project your frequency into the quantum field intentionally so that life begins to organize around your upgraded signal. We'll dive into the science of energetic broadcasting, the real mechanics of manifestation, grounded in the biology of your brain and heart. Because the field is always listening, and once you understand how to communicate with it, transformation becomes not just possible, it becomes inevitable. When you reach a certain level of coherence, something extraordinary begins to happen. The energy within you starts to extend beyond you. Your thoughts, emotions, and physiology combine into a measurable field, a broadcast. You are no longer just a body in space. You're a frequency transmitting information into the quantum field. Every emotion you feel, every thought you think, becomes a signal, one that the universe, or more accurately, the field of energy and information that surrounds everything, responds to. You're already broadcasting all the time, but most people do it unconsciously, sending out mixed, incoherent signals filled with fear, doubt, and contradiction. The real art is to broadcast consciously, deliberately, with alignment and clarity. Dr. Joe Dispenza often says that the quantum field doesn't respond to what we want. It responds to who we are. That means it's not your words, your effort, or even your desires that shape your reality. It's the energy signature you emit. When your inner world is chaotic, your broadcast is noisy. When your thoughts and emotions are coherent, your broadcast becomes powerful and magnetic. The field listens to coherence because coherence is order, and nature always aligns with order. When you become coherent, the field recognizes you as part of its flow. From a neurological perspective, Dr. Andrew Huberman would explain that the moment your brain and body align, when your prefrontal cortex, heart and breath synchronize, your nervous system enters a state of calm alertness. In this state, your brain's ability to project intention improves dramatically. You're no longer thinking from survival, you're thinking from creation. The prefrontal cortex, the seat of your imagination and planning, begins to connect with deeper emotional centers like the limbic system. Your visualization starts to carry emotional charge, and that emotion amplifies your broadcast. Thought is the electrical component, emotion is the magnetic one. Together, they generate an electromagnetic field, your personal signal to the universe. Imagine a radio tower. It doesn't chase listeners, it simply emits a clear frequency, and whoever is tuned to that frequency receives it. You work the same way. When you hold a clear intention, a vision of your desired reality, and combine it with elevated emotion, you're transmitting a new frequency into the field. The stronger your emotion and the steadier your focus, the clearer your signal. And when that signal becomes consistent, reality begins to organize itself around it. The people, opportunities, and situations that match your broadcast start appearing seemingly out of nowhere. Most people, however, broadcast from two competing frequencies. They think one thing and feel another. They say, "I want success," but deep down, they feel unworthy or afraid. They visualize abundance but carry the emotion of lack. This is why change often feels slow or frustrating, because the broadcast is distorted. The field doesn't respond to your words, it responds to your energy. When your thoughts and emotions are out of sync, your signal cancels itself out. You might transmit success for a few moments, then switch back to doubt. The result? Static, mixed messages, incoherence. To broadcast consciously, you have to align thought and feeling, intention and emotion as one. Start by creating a clear vision of what you want, not from desperation but from possibility. See it vividly in your mind. Notice the details, the light, the environment, the sensations, then bring your heart into it. Feel the emotion of already having it, joy, gratitude, fulfillment. Let that emotion rise until it's undeniable. When you combine those two, a clear mental image and an elevated feeling, you create a new electromagnetic signature. You're no longer broadcasting from your past, you're broadcasting from your future. Dr. Dispenza teaches that when your brain and heart work together, the field begins to reflect your broadcast through synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences that seem too precise to be random. Huberman would describe this as the brain's reticular activating system, the neural filter that determines what information you notice. When you focus your energy on a vision, your brain literally starts detecting opportunities that match it. You become more attuned to the signals of your desired reality. It's not just metaphysical, it's biological. Your perception expands to include what once was invisible. Now think of your emotions as magnets. Every time you feel fear or lack, you attract situations that validate those emotions. not because of magic, but because your nervous system and behavior follow the energy you project. When you feel grateful, open, and inspired, you behave differently, you speak differently, you move differently. The field around you changes because your biology changes. Your broadcast changes reality through action, vibration, and resonance all at once. Here's a simple practice to strengthen your signal. Each morning before you start your day, take 2 minutes to visualize one clear intention. Choose one, not 5, not 10, just one thing you want to bring into your experience. Close your eyes and imagine it as already real. Then feel the emotion that having it would create. Don't fake it, summon it. Let that emotion fill your body until your chest feels warm, your breath deepens, and your thoughts become quiet. That's coherence. Now, hold that feeling and imagine that it's radiating from your heart like waves of light, expanding beyond your body into the space around you. That is your broadcast. Hold it for 60 seconds. That's all it takes. You've just sent a coherent signal into the field. When you do this consistently, your brain begins to recognize that frequency as familiar. It starts building neural pathways aligned with that new reality. Meanwhile, your subconscious mind begins filtering experiences that match your new signal. The quantum field, or what physics calls the zero-point energy field, responds to the pattern of your energy. You're essentially programming your environment through coherence and repetition. You're teaching the universe who you are becoming. Remember, energy doesn't lie. You can't fake coherence. You can't say you believe while secretly feeling the opposite. The field mirrors your authentic vibration, not your wishful thinking. So the work isn't to force outcomes, it's to maintain alignment. When your mind drifts back to fear, bring it home with gratitude. When doubt appears, breathe and return to the emotion of trust. Each time you realign, your broadcast becomes stronger. The more coherent your frequency, the more quickly the field organizes around it. Over time, something magical but deeply scientific unfolds. You start noticing that reality bends to meet you halfway. The right people call. Opportunities align, ideas arrive effortlessly. You find yourself in the right place at the right time over and over again. That's not coincidence. That is coherence made visible. You're witnessing your quantum broadcast return as tangible experience. The field is simply echoing back the vibration you've been sending all along. Andrew Huberman often reminds us that attention is the currency of change. Where you place your focus determines what your brain strengthens. When your attention is aligned with emotion, your energy amplifies. That's why this isn't just mindset, it's state management. The more deliberately you manage your state, the more precisely you shape your world. You are not passively observing life, you are actively transmitting it. The ultimate realization comes when you understand that the field doesn't separate the observer from the observed. You and the universe are one system of energy communicating through resonance. Every thought, every feeling, every breath sends ripples through that system. The more coherent the ripples, the faster they return. That's the science behind manifestation, not mysticism, but interaction. So as you move through your day, remember, you are always broadcasting. The question is, what signal are you sending? Fear or faith? Survival or creation? Each emotion you choose shapes the field that shapes you. Stay aware of your vibration. Refine it. Master it. Because the universe doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you are. In the next part, we'll explore how to anchor this power into your physical life, how to live as your transformed self every day, not just during meditation. We'll go beyond the theory into integration so that your quantum broadcast isn't just a practice but a lifestyle, a new baseline of being. Because once you live from coherence, the extraordinary becomes your new normal. There comes a moment in every journey of transformation when knowledge must become embodiment. You've understood the principles, coherence, broadcasting, alignment. But now the real work begins, living as the new self. Transformation isn't something that happens once and fades. It's a state you must continuously generate until it becomes who you are. You've learned to tune your brain, to align your heart, to broadcast your frequency. But unless you live from that energy every day, the old patterns of your past will quietly reclaim their place. True quantum transformation begins the moment you act, think, and feel from your new identity before any evidence appears. Dr. Joe Dispenza often says, to change your personal reality, you must change your personality. Your personality, your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors is the frequency you send into the world. Most people wake up every morning as the same person they were yesterday, thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, performing the same habits. Their brain fires the same neural patterns, their body produces the same chemistry, and the field responds the same way. And so, life repeats itself, not because the universe is cruel, but because their energy signature never changes. The quantum field simply mirrors what it receives. To live as the new self, you must interrupt that pattern. You must wake up and remember who you are becoming, not who you were. When you open your eyes each morning, your brain immediately begins scanning for familiar problems. The mind says, where am I? What day is it? What do I have to do? In seconds, your consciousness returns to the past. But what if, before your feet touched the floor, you paused and tuned into your future instead? What if you asked, who am I choosing to be today? What energy will I broadcast? That question is a key. It shifts your identity from memory to creation. Instead of being defined by your history, you begin to live defined by your vision. Andrew Huberman would describe this as neuroplasticity in action, the brain's capacity to rewire itself through intention and repetition. Every time you act as the new self, you reinforce a new network of neurons. When you sustain elevated emotions like gratitude, peace, or confidence, you flood your body with new chemical instructions. Your cells receive a new message. This is who we are now. That's how transformation becomes biology. You're not pretending to be someone new. You're teaching your nervous system to recognize a higher version of you as normal. Living as the new self means noticing the moments when the old self tries to return, the flashes of doubt, irritation, fear, or frustration, and catching them before they take control. You don't fight them, you simply recognize them. You say, that's the old program and I'm no longer broadcasting that signal. Then you breathe, return to coherence, and choose again. That act of awareness, the ability to interrupt an old pattern and replace it with presence, is where mastery begins. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Each time you realign, your coherence grows stronger, your field more stable, your signal more magnetic. In this state, daily life becomes your meditation. You don't have to wait for the perfect setting, soft music, or silence. The grocery line, the traffic light, the moment of tension at work, all become opportunities to practice coherence. When someone triggers your old reactions, pause, breathe into your heart, and remember your new frequency. That's living as the new self. You're no longer a victim of emotion, you're the conductor of energy. And as you sustain this awareness, something extraordinary happens. The external world begins to conform to your inner rhythm. Challenges dissolve faster, synchronicities multiply, and peace becomes your default state. Dr. Dispenza teaches that when you maintain that state long enough, the quantum field recognizes the signal as stable. It no longer tests you with the old conditions, it begins delivering the new ones. That's when you witness real evidence, the promotion, the healed relationship, the unexpected opportunity. But those manifestations aren't the goal, they're feedback. They're the universe reflecting your new coherence. When you understand that, you stop chasing outcomes and start cultivating states. You realize that the external always follows the internal, just as shadow follows form. From Huberman's lens, this is not mysticism, it's physiology. When your brain operates in balanced alpha and theta waves, your default mode network quiets down. You stop living in stress and prediction, and you start living in possibility. Your perception widens, creativity increases, and your decision-making improves. In that neurological environment, change becomes sustainable. Your body learns to trust the new pattern, and the brain stops fighting it. You are literally rewiring the circuits of identity. To anchor this transformation, create rituals that align with your new frequency. It could be as simple as a morning breath practice, a gratitude journal, or walking outdoors while imagining your future self already alive within you. The key is consistency, not mechanical repetition, but conscious re-entry into the state of being you choose to embody. Every time you feel the emotion of your future, your brain can't tell the difference between imagination and reality. To it, it's already happening, and because energy precedes matter, the physical world will eventually match that internal frequency. That's how vision becomes fact. It's important to understand that integration doesn't mean life will suddenly be free of challenge. It means you'll respond to those challenges from a higher vibration. The storms don't disappear. You simply stop losing yourself in them. You become the calm within the chaos, the still point in the spinning field. That's real power. When your energy remains coherent in any circumstance, you're no longer being shaped by the world. You're shaping it. The greatest mistake most people make is waiting for their environment to change before they change their state. They say, when I have more money, I'll feel abundant. When I find love, I'll feel worthy. When I succeed, I'll feel happy. But that's backwards. The field doesn't work that way. You must feel abundant before the money, feel worthy before the relationship, feel happy before the success. That's how you signal the field that you're already living in that reality. The energy of your new self must come first, not second. The moment you truly feel it, not as hope, but as truth, the field rearranges itself to match. And that's the essence of your quantum code, thought and emotion fused into coherence, broadcast through the heart, anchored by action. It's the loop that rewrites your reality. The brain sets the intention, the heart provides the emotion, and the body executes the command. When all three align, you become a living example of transformation. You stop seeking miracles because you realize you are one. Now imagine living every day from that awareness, waking up as your future self, walking, speaking, and creating from that frequency. The world would respond differently because you would be different. Your relationships, your health, your opportunities, all shaped by the signal you sustain. That's not fantasy, that's physics. The quantum field is impartial. It simply reflects coherence. And coherence is a choice, one you can make right now. Take a breath, feel your heart. Remember the signal of gratitude and possibility. Let it expand until it fills the space around you. In this moment, you are broadcasting your future into existence. Not someday, not after you've achieved more, right now. Because the future isn't coming, it's already here, waiting for you to match its frequency. You are not here to survive, you are here to evolve, to awaken the quantum code within you. The unique vibration that once activated makes transformation instant and permanent. You've learned the mechanics, the science, the energy. Now it's time to live it. Because the greatest discovery is not that your brain can change your world, it's that your consciousness was always creating it.